Hello and welcome to JPWHU Radio with me, your host John Phillips, also known as JP. On today's podcast, we are going to be reviewing the 25-26 Premier League season. Back at the start of the season, I did do a preview in terms of the fixtures to see what we could predict, where we would finish up. So we'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about the managers involved in the season as well. So let's crack on. Okay, guys, so let's crack on by talking about the fixtures first and foremost. Now, of course, we will be, as I said, talking about the managers in terms of their stats because they are relevant, but we're going to do this in chronological order, okay? So it's not exactly going to be, I'm not going to be reading off all this, reading off all that, but we will get round to it when we need to get round to it in terms of this recording. Okay, so let's start off by August. So as I mentioned, over on the YouTube channel, JPWHU TV on YouTube, I'll put a link in the description as well so you can get access to that video so you can do a side-by-side comparison if you'd like. I predicted points for each month, not necessarily which game is going to get which points. And as I say, we ended up on a points fixture, a total of 41. So let's have a look to see if I was actually right or anywhere off, as it usually is with this thing. How close I got to that in terms of, I mean, obviously we know that the end result, we know what it was. You know, there was 2 points difference between what I predicted and what we ended up with. But let's break it down month by month to have a look at what happened. So let's wind the clock all the way back to August of 2025. I hate saying 2025, but some people get confused if you say August 25. So it's not the 25th, JP. No, August 2025. We played on the 16th of August. We played Sunderland. We lost there 3-0. On the 23rd of Chelsea, our first home game of the season, we lost 5-1. And second away game of the season, Nottingham Forest, as we all remember, 3-0. So for August, I put us down that we would get 4 points out of that. Obviously, of course, first game of the season, I was absolutely buzzing because it was a first of 2 family derbies because the other half of my family are Mackems, aka Sunderland. So even though I was spitting feathers like crazy that we lost 3-0 to Sunderland, I was happy for Sunderland to get their first victory. Of course, not being very happy that it was at our expense, of course, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's crack. So I predicted we would pick up 4 points in August. We ended up picking 3. Okay, so let's go to September. I predicted that we would get 4 points. So at the end of September's fixture list, we would get 8 points. That was my prediction. We lost 3-0 at home to Spurs. We lost 2-1 to Crystal Palace at home as well. And we had a 1-1 draw with Everton towards the end of that month. Now, after the Crystal Palace draw, West Ham got rid of Graham Potter and brought in Nuno Espirito Santo. So from here on out, this is Nuno tallies, okay? Because he joined, his first game in charge was from game week 6, if I remember correctly. So for September, as I say, I predicted us to have 4 points and finish 8 points on the table. We picked up 1 point. And as I say, that's the draw against Everton. We lost 3-0 to Spurs and 3-0 to Palace. So going into the end of September, I'm 100% over, or twice over, you should say. We ended September on 4 points. Now, let's go into October. On the 4th of October, we were away at Arsenal at the Emirates for a 2-0 loss, Brentford at home for a 2-0 loss, and Leeds away for a 2-1 loss. So no mathematicians needed there. 0 points. Now, I said for October we would pick up 3 points, but we didn't. We picked up bugger all. And so rather than the 11 I thought we would end October on, we ended on 4. Now, going into November, I predicted that out of the 4 fixtures we've got, Newcastle, Burnley, Bournemouth and Liverpool, I forecast that we would pick up 3 points from that, which anybody would have taken, to be honest with you. We won 3-1 at home against Newcastle, 3-2 at home against Burnley, 2-2 draw away at Bournemouth, and a 2-0 loss at home to Liverpool, putting us on 7 points out of that month rather than the 3 I thought we were going to pick up, putting us on 11 points and therefore out of the relegation zone. which is brilliant. You know, we're starting to pick up some points here. I mean, it's still shit. Don't get me wrong; it's still pathetic, but it was a little bit of a spring in our step. I think it's fair to say on that one, guys. Wouldn't you say? Now, December, we had Manchester United, Brighton, Villa, City, Fulham and Brighton. 2 8 o'clock kickoffs in December, as it always is. I predicted we would finish the month with 4 points and 18 points on the table. We drew 1-1 with Manchester United away, as we know. Brighton away was 1-1. Aston Villa 3-2 loss at home. City away 3-0 loss. Fulham at home 1-0 loss. Brighton at home 2-2 draw, giving us 3 points out of that. But unfortunately, putting us on 14 points and therefore back in the relegation zone. Now, let's go into January. So, sorry, hit the microphone there for a second. Apologies. 5 fixtures in January. Obviously, I'm leaving out the League Cup games, and also I'm going to leave out the FA Cup games as well. But even though they do play a part a little bit in the fixtures, let's concentrate on the predictions at this point. So, yeah. So in January, out of those 5 games, I thought we would pick up a point apiece, basically, including an 8 o'clock kickoff against Forest at home with 5 points. And as I say, and then therefore finishing January with 23 points. I got the points tally total right. Just the wrong number of points out of that. 3-0 win away at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Forest at home, 2-1 loss. Spurs away, 2-1 win. Sunderland at home, a 3-1 win. Chelsea away, 3-2 loss. That's 9 points, putting us on 23. So I was actually level, as I exactly predicted we would finish, which is very, very rare. That never happens, guys. You know that when you do it yourselves, that never really happens. Now, of course, the Chelsea loss hits hard because we were 2-0 up at half time. One of the many games that we threw leading points away from. But I digress. Let's talk about February. So in February, we had 4 fixtures. Again, an 8 o'clock kickoff. At the end of February, I thought we were going to pick up 5 points from those 4 games and end the month on 28 points. We lost 2-0 away to Burnley. 1-1 draw at home to Manchester United, a 0-0 draw at home to Bournemouth, and a 5-2 away loss to Liverpool. So we only really picked up 2 points out of that, putting us on 25 points. So 3 points ahead of the game as far as the predictions concerned. In March, we had 3 fixtures. I thought we were going to pick up 4 points from those 3 games, ending us on 32 points. We had a 1-0 win away over Fulham, a 1-1 draw over Man City, and a 2-0 loss away to Aston Villa. So 4 points from that. So I got the tally right, which any of us would have taken in that fixture. That fixture list. Of course, it would have been nice to get a draw against Villa, but we didn't. We lost. It was the only loss of that month. So we picked up the 4 points, but ended up on 29 points as a result of it. Now, going into April, 3 games. And I thought we were going to pick up 5 points from said 3 games, ending us on 37 points. As it was, we actually picked up 7 points, went unbeaten in April. 4-0 win at home to Wolves. Crystal Palace a 0-0 draw, which we should have really capitalised on. Everton was a 2-1 win at home. So we ended on 7 points, but 1 point off where I thought we were going to be, 36 points. And of course, the hardest one to talk about, the May fixtures. Brentford, Arsenal, Newcastle and Leeds. Now, at the time, in July when these fixtures came out, I thought we were going to pick 4 points from those 4 games. Not unreasonable, to be honest with you. And we would have ended the season on 41 points. We lost 3-0, as we know, away to Brentford. 1-0 loss at home to Arsenal. Yeah, let's not go over that ground again. Newcastle, 3-1 loss away, and Leeds a 3-0 win at home, ending the season on 39 points, and that month picking up just 1 win, so 3 points out of that as well. So 2 points off the tally that I thought we were going to get. So not bad from that point of view, but still horrendous. Who would have known that it would have taken 41, 42 points to keep safe this season? Nobody in the world would have ever predicted that. I said at the time, and you can go and watch the video in the link in the description. I said at the time that I don't think all promoted teams will automatically get relegated. I said I can't see it. Can't see it happening for a third season on the trot, and it didn't. And that's half the problem. Now, the reason why I said at the start of this that we would talk about the managers is because obviously we've heard that Nuno has stayed because he wants to continue on the challenge to get us back to the Premier League, and I get that. I 100% respect him for it. Not 100% sure it's the correct move for the club, but I'm not disappointed either. So yeah, because as you guys remember, because obviously when he signed, I wasn't really making any real content on any platforms. I was doing Facebook stuff at the time, but didn't really have any platform to talk about it in that regard. So now we can. Obviously, Nuno signed a 3-year deal, taking him to the summer of 28. But to get some more context as to why a lot of people are saying, including Simon Jordan randomly, why keeping Nuno is a good idea, is while he was out in Saudi, he did the double, winning the Super Cup and the league in the 22-23 season. Now, I know that's not a huge amount, but that's nothing to be sniffed at the same point. That's kind of like winning the Championship and the League Cup, basically, from what I understand of it. Now, when he was Wolves manager, he got them to finish in second place in the automatic promotion place in the 17-18 season, and the 18-19 and 19-20 seasons, they ended up in Europe twice. That's not bad in any shape or form. However, I will tell you what is. Now, because obviously, as I say, that's the reason why I mentioned about Potter leaving on game week 5 and Nuno coming in at the same point. Obviously, we know the whole debacle about that, how that happened. Nuno was courted for a week or so. Potter was given more time. The agreement was made. We lost to Palace, and then boom, he's out. Even gave the pre-match conference, and even took training that Friday morning. And then Nuno was appointed. It's harsh. It really, really is harsh, and not the last harsh thing they've done so far this season. I mean, obviously the harshest one is not investing properly in fucking us over. But anyway. Okay, so let's have a look at points per games. Nuno, as I say, he won 9, drawn 9 and lost 15. So he had 33 games. So basically 95% of the entire bloody season, give or take. I'm going to say he missed out on 5. So let's give him say 90% and that's being generous. His points per game over that was 1.09 with a win percentage rate of 32%. Now, Graham Potter, for the January to September, obviously the summer break doesn't count, but in the time that he picked up all the fixtures in basically in the 80% of the calendar year, his points per game tally was just 1 point with a 24% win percentage. Now, the ironic thing is Julian Lopetegui, right? From July to January, his points per game was 1.18 with the same win percentage, 32, as Nuno. So you could argue that we should have kept Julian Lopetegui in the first place. Obviously, we all know the reasons why that didn't happen, and we know the reasons why Potter was sacked as well for pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same reasons, really, to be honest with you. I was going to save all this for another podcast just to purely talk about Nuno, the pluses and minuses of it. But we've kind of covered it in there, really. So, but this is the thing. This is the reason, because I say, again, in hindsight is a wonderful thing, as it always is. But it would have been nice to have kept on Lopetegui, especially with that win percentages and the points per game. It's the best out of the 3 so far, at least. Obviously, once Nuno's had a bit more time, but he's had roughly the same time that Lopetegui had. Now, I'm not saying we would have stayed up comfortably with Lopetegui in any shape or form, because I still think the end result would have been roughly the same. I don't think we would have had the better defensive options like we did with bringing in Disasi for this the remainder of the season from January, bringing in Pablo and Tati to help out the attack, which, to be fair, they did. Not enough, but they did. James Ward-Prowse going on loan to Burnley. That worked, didn't it? Obviously, Fulker going off on loan as well to, I think it was AC Roma, I think, wasn't it? And that's worked out. That's worked out the beneficial of both teams, hasn't it? But yeah, so as I say, try to whiz through this because I don't want to go into too much detail, purely because everybody else has by now. I'm sure everybody else has by now. But guys, yeah, there's a hell of a lot of work to do. I'm going to do another podcast, which is going to be going up on Monday. I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to go into a bit more detail in terms of what's happened since the whistle has blown for the full time of the season. Obviously, I touched on it, that Nuno's staying. But there's a few other things that I want to talk about, which I want to keep completely separate because it's now going into talking about the 26-27 season. It's so good that the club gave 30% off being down in the Championship. Couldn't even give us a third, the tight cunts. Honestly, absolutely pathetic. So if anybody from West Ham Media Board is watching this, thank you, but it's just not enough. It's just not enough. I mean, a Tier 1 season ticket, it's like 870 quid. That's ridiculous. Affordable football in the Championship. On your fucking bike, West Ham. On your fucking bike. Again, just shows how bad we are with our finances. It really, really does. But I don't want to waffle on for too long. I've gone on slightly longer than I wanted to already. I say this was a bit more of a whistle stop. It's not to say, look how close I got. It was just literally my thoughts versus reality. And I say I wasn't too far off, not going to lie. I wasn't too far off. A couple of months I got actually spot on in one way or another. So yeah, maybe I do know West Ham better than the owners. We'll never know. But guys, in the meantime, thank you very, very much for listening. Look after yourself. Have a great weekend. And I will speak to you guys very, very soon. As I say, you'll hear from me on Monday. Podcast is going to be going up talking about the movements that have already been confirmed and what I think should and should not happen in terms of the summer window. And again, see if I'm right, to see if you're right. In the meantime, like this episode if you can. This is available on all platforms. If you're on Apple Podcasts or any other platform that you can give us a review, then by all means, please do give us a review as well. Would appreciate it if you could download these episodes, because the more downloads I get, the more traction it seems to get on the backgrounds for basically just covering my costs on this. But guys, as I say, thank you very, very much. If you want to hear some more content, there's going to be exclusive content going up on Patreon. The episode that's going to be going up on Monday, that is going to be edited for this for the free platform. But say in Patreon, there's going to be completely unedited as well. So guys, have a great weekend, and I will speak to you very, very soon. All the best now.